anything that hasn't been found out, or anything sexual that you've done that could be considered reprehensible. So the organisation does have a tremendous power over former members.
When inside St Hill, Ali saw a document about Scientology's chief critic John Atack. She put the document in her bag to read in the privacy of the toilet, meaning to put it back later. But unknown to Ali, the Scientologists were secretly filming her, secretly filming them. They called the police.
When I was arrested, it happened very suddenly. I found myself being taken out of the castle by the police, and all of a sudden all sorts of Sea Org members I'd never seen before, older ones who were quite scary looking, quite sinister, came out of the woodwork, and 3 or 4 of them were taking photographs or video footage of me. It was bizarre. Everyone was lining the corridors as I was walking out, looking at me, and as soon as I gave them eye contact, they'd look away from me like I was evil or something. It was an amazing experience.
We wanted representatives of Scientology to appear in this programme, but conditions for an interview could not be agreed. Scientology does not approve of open discussion of its beliefs. It calls journalists suppressive people and believes them to be irredeemably evil. Ron Hubbard devised a special policy to deal with these perceived enemies of Scientology. It allows them to do anything to deter, discredit or destroy their critics. Journalist Russell Miller faced months of harassment as his biography of Hubbard neared publication.
Firstly, they kept informing the police that I was responsible for various crimes, and so the police would show up at my doorstep, want to know where I was on such and such a day. The first crime was the murder of someone in a pub in South London, and they had solid evidence that I was responsible for that, or so they thought.
After fighting countless lawsuits against Scientology, leading critic John Atack went bankrupt in May. He's been harassed by them since 1983.
I've been followed by private detectives. Private detectives have sought to interrogate my family, my wife's family. If you just write down a list of the worst possible things you can say about somebody, I've been accused of those things. Not just in whispering campaigns, but in print.
Scientology vigorously defends its freedom of belief, saying it improves life in a troubled world. But evidence is accumulating that it's one of the most destructive cults.
Scientologists who have come out of their group have reported some of the highest instances of suicidal and self-destructive tendencies afterwards. And many of them have told us that when they were in the group, they were warned that if they left Scientology, they would commit suicide within 6 months. Many of them left with enormous fear.
John Buchanan was a Scottish landscape gardener who worked in Germany. 3 years ago, John became involved in Scientology at the Munich mission. He piled up huge debts with several German banks to buy Scientology courses and materials. Last November, to escape his debts, he committed suicide. He left a final note for his mother, Mary MacDonald. He explained that he believed that he would come back to life and return to Scotland. The Scientology had taught John Buchanan to believe in reincarnation.
It definitely said that he was going to be reincarnated and come back in another life or another form, which obviously something that he was never brought up to believe in, and I just didn't know that he did believe in things like that.
John Buchanan did return to Scotland to be buried in this village churchyard in the Trossachs. When he died, among his few possessions were the Scientology books, tapes and equipment that had cost him thousands of pounds.
I feel that if it wasn't for Scientology, he'd probably still be here.